Hey everyone, Temporal here, and for this session we are reviewing a bronze DPS. I believe it's mostly going to be Pharah. If you guys are enjoying the content, please do like and subscribe, as that really does help me do more of this, spread this out to a new audience, bring in new viewers. Or if you are looking to get coaching yourself, you can join my Discord in the description below, see what rates look like, see what sort of promos, events we have coming up, when we're doing something a little different, all that jazz.
Five, four, three, two, one. Attackers incoming. Defend objective.
Okay, I'm glad that you opened here. I feel that was a little early on your boost because you're kind of committed to this, and I would have liked you to be closer before you were committed. As you're closer, the fight gets a little more in your favor on that Widow dive, but conceptually not bad. Press X. What's your healing setup? Your healing setup is a Mercy that's probably not going to pocket you, and a Moira. Mercy should pocket you in this situation, but we do not live in a world of should. Okay. We're going to shift. I'm surprised we're not just taking the high ground. Like, taking that from Widow is a pretty big deal. I'm a little surprised we're not going to use it. Good. You've denied the sight lines of both of their hit scan. You go up and over. Okay, you see the Widow's back. You're going to have to either E yourself into her. You pretty much have to E yourself into her to move immediately, otherwise you're in trouble. You eat her instead. I'd have preferred that you'd eat off of this wall to move yourself significantly. I think that was more important. You can reacquire faster than she can because she's zoomed in with a scope, and that scope actually makes her sensitivity such that it's like impossible for her to do a big swing over to there. So without dropping, and if she drops, she has to recharge her shot, etc. when she rescopes. So I'd have preferred you'd use this E to move yourself because I think that would have then allowed you to hit the follow-up rocket, get the elimination, etc. I think knocking her off wasn't guaranteed. If she'd been counter-moving against this boop, she would not have been knocked far enough to fall off, and then you'd be in a tough situation. The way boops work in this game is if you're moving in the direction that you get booped, like if you're pressing backwards when you get booped backwards, you get sent really far. If you're pressing forwards when you get booped backwards, you actually don't get booped terribly far. The Widow's back. You do want to check her, even if you don't. You do want to check on her, even if you don't have your cooldown yet to go up on her. Now you do. You're not going to shoot at the Junkrat? Is that you trying? No, you just didn't see the Junkrat. Okay. Right idea. Nicely done. A little slow to realize some of your targets were there, both the Widow and the Junkrat, but good job. And I'm not saying you were slow to realize the Widow was there because you didn't take your shot immediately. That I understood, you were trying to get close. I'm saying you were slow to realize back when you were on point and she was back on high ground and you didn't even look at her to see if she was looking at you, etc. Or if she had a sight line or any of that. Okay, so they are running the double sniper now with the Ash Widow, so it's going to be tough to play Pharah. You're not going to be able to just openly take the skies like that. Not going to be able to openly take the skies like that, especially on the right or the mid. Okay, you can chunk out the D.Va, that's fine. That's Widow Eyes. That's Widow Eyes. That's very dangerous. No, no, no. They see you coming. So did you hear Widow speaking there? Like, did you hear the foreign language voice line there? So what that means is that their Widow has popped Infocyte, so their entire team can see you guys through walls. So sort of see how we can sort of see through walls in this spectator mode. We can see the outlines of people through walls. In the real game, you don't get that on opponents, only on allies. And when you pop Infocyte, though, you can see the red team is filled in red through walls, etc. So you know exactly where they are. So you can't really sneak up on people when that's happening. And it's generally you just don't want to open sightlines on them when they have that ult going, which you did there. You continued to try to challenge.
I will not fail again.
Everyone,
Clearing the area.
on the objective.
Heroes never die.
This objective must be ours.
Move back. I always get my friend.
Okay. We got it. You had something to do with that first cap. You really did not have much to do with that second point cap. But that's okay. So remember, let's respect that infocyte a little more. That voice line means they can see you through walls for 15 seconds, 10 seconds, I forget. But you need to respect that. You don't want to try and sneak up on people, and you don't really want to try and challenge sightlines and take poke wars while that is up, because they know when you're peeking, because they can see you through the wall starting to move to peek, etc., and you can't say the same about them. This is aggressive. I don't like this, because if they walk out of spawn with a Widow, you lose. There's no way you're getting out in time. You follow what I'm saying? Like, you can't drop fast enough, and even if you can drop fast enough, you then can't get out. So this is bad.
Clearing the area. Touch from afar. Get back.
Didn't really need that boop. Could have just shot. Boop isn't as good against the ball as it is against the Widow, because the ball, as a 4-second cooldown on grapple, can retake space pretty easily, can roll back in on no cooldown. Like, moving the ball around isn't as big a deal as moving the Widow off her perch. She has a much longer cooldown on her grappling hook. Again, moving yourself into the Widow is frequently better in those situations. I'd have liked you to use that E to push in on the Widow. As you get closer to her, it's harder for her to do her stuff.
My team needs me. Move back.
I understand.
Personne n'échappe à mon
That's Widow Eyes. She can see you. You don't know where she is, but she can see you. Yep, so you see how she just didn't hit her shot, but she was already looking at you when you peeked the corner. So that's just unfortunate. You gotta respect that, gotta know what it is. I don't mind the fact that you had to force it that time because they were about to cap, but I'm not convinced you know how the ability works after the previous time.
Smoke 'em out of there.
Sorry.
Back in action. Move back.
Oh, come on, game.
Get into position.
Okay. Gotta pop back up. Make sure you know where your real cover is. You are playing into double hit scan. Around the outside is fine. Pretty hard commit. Oh, you have to hit the lamp. You have to hit the lamp. Oh, okay. So you just don't know how that ability works, I'm betting. Well, actually, you have a lot of playtime. You probably know how that ability works. Maybe not. So here it is. This is a conceptually fine play. You're going to go down doing this, but if you take 3 to whatever people with you, it's totally worth. But the problem that you run into is this thing right here. We call it it's actually Immortality Field. It gets called Lamp or Frisbee sometimes, Disc, whatever. This has a health bar. And you see these blue checked off thing with the line, etc. on everyone's health bar. They cannot go below that amount of health while they are inside this sort of circle on the ground until this thing is destroyed. So you need to use part of your barrage to destroy this thing. You have to. You won't be able to finish these guys unless this thing gets destroyed. So some of your barrage has to be used to destroy this. It's a little unfortunate that your team doesn't, immediately come in here and help you, etc., but you have to know that you've got to destroy this thing. And if we watch this play out, let's slow it down because you had plenty of ability to destroy it. You're on them, you're not on the lamp, and I can live with that. but I'd like a tilt up to the lamp now, because the missiles that will take them down to the critical threshold are for everyone except Diva are already on their way out, so you don't need to continue firing them. They're already traveling through the air. So I'd like you to aim up at the lamp, up at the lamp, up at the lamp, up at the lamp. You see this? These just aren't working. Like, they're just not going down, and the reason they're not going down, it might look like you haven't gotten them to the threshold yet, but you have on everyone except Diva. The only reason they're above it is because the BAP hit shift and is also healing them. These guys, if the lamp was gone, these guys would be eliminated, etc. You need to destroy the lamp. And you can aim your barrage to destroy the lamp. You can do it, but you track them the whole time. You don't go for the lamp. So that's what happened here. Nope. The trick there was to actually, as you were floating past, turn and E into this to send yourself zooming in this direction. That's what you wanted to do. As you're flying through the air, you want to be aware of things that you can use. Aerial cover is nice because you can use it to protect yourself from people shooting on the ground, and it's also stuff that you can turn and hit your concussive blast off of, and if you're close enough, it'll zoom you in the, opposite direction. So that's what you needed to do here. Don't challenge the Widow in the open like this. Like, you don't want to just challenge the Widow in the open like this. You want to close the angle on her with this cover, with this aerial stuff, and clear the point, and then you can sneak your way up to her along the outside, maybe get her over here, maybe get her over here. You don't want to just take long-range poke battles with Widow without cover. You just don't. She's better than you at long-range poke. At the simplest level, she can one-shot you. You can't one-shot her.
I'm on fire.
She's also more precise than you. Her shots don't have travel time. Yours do.
Damage increase. I require assistance.
All systems checked out. Game on.
I don't like that you're challenging out there with the Widow. You're not really respecting where she could possibly hit enough. That might have been an attempt to move yourself with Concussive Blast. If so, I think it's the first one we've seen. Good. Nice. Yeah, there we go. There's a concussive. Excuse me, it's not the first one. You've moved yourself with a concussive blast on the ground before, but the one, up a wall to try to move yourself horizontally. There you go. They swapped up Widow to McCree. Your team isn't really enforcing this hard enough anymore. Yeah, you need to back a little. Like, I get what you're trying to do, and I like it, but your team isn't up here enforcing this, which you'd like them to do. Them enforcing this would be preferable for you, because it makes it harder for their hit scan to do work, to get on you, etc. Enforcing from back here isn't as good, but you do have to work with the reality of your team. So you're going to have to find aerial cover. Left side is better cover for you. So you need to aim all the way down. If you want to go forward with a concussive blast off the ground, it really does have to be all the way down. If you point as hard down as you can, literally all the way down to the point where the mouse doesn't go any further by dragging down, that will send you forward. If you're at all tilted forward, it's going to send you back.
Justice reigns from above.
Surrender to my will.
Move back.
You're trying. Don't challenge it. Okay. 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 So they got it. So far the things that we are seeing that are relevant, that really matter here, are going to be, hey, you need to be more aware of infocytes. Like that actually was a pretty big deal in terms of you need to recognize that ult voice line, especially as Pharah, and not try to challenge them through it and not try to sneak up on people through it. So that's something that I would very much like to see. Other than that, a little bit more aerial cover use would be fantastic. A little bit more of understanding where aerial cover is and some better E use. Like E over aerial cover to move yourself. There's times when that would be more helpful to what you're doing. And also we've just seen you struggle with your E use a bit. Like you knocked yourself back when you didn't mean to, etc. You knocked yourself immediately from one wall into the other when I don't think you meant to. You wanted to knock yourself out further here. So that's something that you'll want to practice a bit. So E use, aerial cover, infocyte are sort of the things that are bouncing around my mind right now for you.
Ready for
Don't do this. Don't do this. Please don't do this. This is the second time you've done this. So we're gonna have to change this. If a pocketed widow just opens this, or if an Ashe just peeks out here, you just go down. You're just going to go down. And your Mercy isn't going to be able to res you. She's going to go down too. Like, this is not good. And they can see you through here, through the window if they really want.
Damage increase. Thanks for the
Doesn't mean they're looking, but they could if they were better.
1. Attackers incoming. Defend objective
in the area.
Didn't want that shift. Now it's on cooldown and you didn't get height because you basically have the skybox immediately. Okay. Oh boy. You actually don't want to challenge the Echo first, you want to challenge the Widow first, yeah. So your options when playing into a Widow are you're either going to play in places where she can't hit you, or you're going to dive her. Those are your options. Now we're on Tracer. Okay. And I know fighting the Echo, it's helpful to be above the Echo, like that definitely does help in the matchup, but you can't do it if that puts you in the Widow's sightline. You have to deal with the Widow first, or you have to play from places that aren't in the Widow's sightline. And win the battle by contributing more damage than she does. This isn't good. We don't want to be here. Wait for it. Wait for it. Okay. Health back. You missed the health back right there. There's a Mega in that room that she could have grabbed and probably wanted. Didn't need to recall there.
30 seconds remaining.
Heroes never die.
I'm playing the Widow's sightline. Either contribute out of the sightline or find your way around to go get on her. Yeah. You're not respecting the existence of the Widow enough.
Adaptive circuits engage. Diva.
Better.
Surrender to my will.
Don't play out here. Don't play out here. You can't just play in the middle like this. You have to be using the pillars, using this low wall. Don't put... Good. You can't just stay here. Ugh. You can't run straight at her either. You have to go up the flanks to get to her. Okay, so we're amending our list. Respect the Widow's sightline is jumping right to the top of it. Before I was, oh, you make more use of aerial cover, but now it's just like hard respect the respect the Widow's sightline. Words are hard.
Clearing the area.
Okay.
Let me get you back.
Do you have a pocket? You could have a Mercy. A Mercy pocket would be real nice for challenging this. Oh yeah, you don't know how to use that E. You have to aim all the way down, or you can just 180 E behind you. Either one. can kind of cheat. This is fine, but you can kind of cheat and go like, hey, I'm going to max range poke at you, because if you max range poke at you, Bastion spread and fall off get worse, whereas your projectile doesn't have any damage fall off. It does the same damage if you hit, if you're standing right here and you hit Diva, versus if you're standing right here and you hit the Rhine Shield all the way over there. Whereas Bastion does have more spread that makes it harder to hit you and fall off, so you can try to go, hey, I'm going to play max range, and I'm going to peek this well here as cover repeatedly. Fountain. That's the word I'm looking for. It's a little easier than playing the wall there if this is all they're doing. Or playing the, arch thing. Yeah, we're struggling with that E usage. You didn't get what you wanted there. Nope. You dropped into a place where you didn't have a way to get out. You needed to stay up here. You can actually balance on this if you want, but you could also balance on this and then just hop back and then fuel your way back up, etc. Now you're on Genji. Okay.
Be quick about it.
I suppose I wasn't really in review mode there. I'll redo it, but I'm probably at my limit for this round. By at my limit, I mean I don't feel like reviewing more heroes. Let's say we're throwing this out. Fine. That's a terrible dash. You do not want this dash. You want your dashes to get eliminations or to put you in safe spots. This is the opposite of that. It was very unlikely to immediately get an elimination. That Bastion had way too much health. It was not part of a coordinated dive, and it was not a case of I'm dashing out, I'm dashing to safety. You were dashing into danger. You did not get an elimination on it. You never were going to get an elimination on it. So now you're in a dangerous spot without your best cooldown for getting out, which is dash. Okay.
The objective is mine.
You didn't need to dash here at all. You dashed too early there and it got cancelled by the wall climb effectively. Didn't get any distance off of it. Okay. So that's some dash usage that desperately needs to be improved. Can't deflect Moira's right click like that. Chunking those out. You're gonna re-peek here. No, no, no! We can't dash in like this. No. You can't dash into danger without getting the reset. I know, Semitic. I know. It's mostly been Pharah. There's been a little bit of Tracer and Genji, but I think he got frustrated by the Bastion. Okay, that's fine, Game Buster. I actually have some other coaching already scheduled, so I probably won't get to them this evening, and that might mean you prefer to have them tomorrow, so you'll have to let me know what you want there. Okay. So that is a time when you dash, by the way. You've dashed for finishes, and you totally had the finish there, and you knew it. So you dash for the finish because you'll immediately get your cooldown back when your dash finishes him off. Up to you, Game Buster. Okay. Fine. Okay. Unfortunate. So you probably wanted to dash through the Bastion there just to intentionally end your deflect so that you could hit, go, okay, dash to end my deflect so I can do a slash to finish him. But hey.
Objective A captured.
Or just start with, ah. That was too late. You need to know how long micro missiles last, so you popped your deflect too late into it. You kind of just dropped into the open without either of your cooldowns, and now you dashed into danger. We desperately need to fix this dash usage. Are you going to try to backcap them? You are. It's not going to work, but hey. Nope. Your dash... No! You have to dash at targets when your dash is going to finish them off. Dash does... what? 50 damage? Yeah, 50 damage. So that's about just under 2 bars of life. Okay.
Again.
There we go. Okay, so that's over. So what we need to look at here is, first things first, you need to respect Widow's sightlines better on your Pharah and your Tracer. We saw that on both. I totally don't mind you challenging the Widow as often as you did in terms of getting up in her face, moving her around with your E, being a nuisance to her. You got, sneaking up on her. All that is good, but, the long-range challenges with Pharah, you have to be more aware of that she's better than you at those. And same thing on Tracer, you can't just exist in the open, like down this middle path when she's threatening this middle path. You have to either outvalue her on point with your Pharah or your Tracer, so you're pumping out more damage than she is while not giving her a sight line on you, or you need to go up the flanks to get close to her to go challenge her. That's going to be your biggest takeaway. That is how you fight Widow. The next thing that we're going to work on is on Pharah. You want to spend some real time working on your concussive blasts. Your concussive blasts on opponents are good, booping away divas, booping away widows, moving them off their high ground. Those are good, but your concussive blasts to move yourself around on the ground were really troublesome. I could tell multiple times you didn't go where you wanted to with it, and other times your aerial movement concussive blasts weren't amazing either. So spend some time working on your concussive blasts. You can literally just, you can hop in the training room. You can build a workshop code with no cooldown time and just practice concussive blasting to move yourself around, etc. Just drill it. It won't take very long. Like 15 minutes of concussive blasting yourself just to move yourself with no cooldown on it, you'll get real comfortable with it, and it'll stick. So concussive blast, respecting the widow, and then Genji. This dash stuff has got to change. Dash is to finish targets off or to get to safety. We do not dash into danger. We do not dash into a bastion's face unless we have other people going in with us too. Like, hey, our Sombra's unstealthing at the same time. Our Tracer is double blinking in at the same time. Our ball is pile driving at the same time. We don't dash into opponents' faces unless it's going to get us the elimination or it's part of a duel, etc. And it really is a duel that's going on there and we need to change the space, etc. So fix those 3 things, pick one at a time, don't try to do them all at once. It'll be very easy to do the concussive blast. That's like 15 minutes in a workshop that you build, easily done, and the others work on them one at a time. Keep working until you see some improvement, until you get to the point where it sort of becomes automatic. You may play a little worse while you're focusing specifically on these things, but that's okay because once you've locked them in as part of your autopilot, then when you go to focus on other stuff or when you go to just play the game, they'll stick, those improvements will stick, and you'll be playing better. Anyway, I hope that helped. If anyone has any questions, we can throw them in chat now. If you guys are enjoying the content, please do like and subscribe, as that really does help me out quite a bit. Spreads this out, brings in new audience, lets new people see this. We get to build up a better and better and smarter and better at Overwatch community. Or if you are looking to get coaching yourself, you can join my Discord in the description below, see what rates look like, see what sort of promos, events, things like that we have coming up, all sorts of good stuff. You'll get back there, Game Buster. I'm not worried. You've been improving. It's obvious. And you're improving faster than the average player is at this point, which, remember, everyone is improving. So if you're improving faster, that's the real key. Okay, looks like that does it. Anyways, I'm done for now, guys. I'll try to get back and do a little more this evening, but I have other work to do, actually coaching work this time that's not going to be on stream and not going to be uploaded. So I'll see you guys later. Temporal out.